How is it going, everyone? It's K Lumity here, and today we are going to be talking about a video game called Stardust Skate. Now, I was not really familiar with what this game was. I just saw the PlayStation 1 aesthetic of it, and I really liked that. And I like the idea of a new skateboarding game. You know, this game just came out in 2025, so it's pretty new. And I was pretty excited to just check it out and see what it was all about. And I will say the gameplay is pretty fun. You know, it's nothing too crazy. It's very simple, actually. It's a skateboarding game, but it's basically a runner style game. So if you've ever played any sort of these runner games where you're just basically swapping lanes of where you're going and kind of avoiding obstacles, that's what you're playing here. I've heard a lot of people compare it to Subway Surfers. I've never played Subway Surfers, but I think I get the general idea of what that game would have been. So if you like stuff like this, you'll probably like this game. And this is not a very expensive game either. It's only $3, and you can definitely get quite a bit of time out of it. I really like playing through this game and just trying to get high scores, trying to collect all the stars on the levels. You know, you have to try to collect stars because you can collect enough of them to where you can actually use those stars to open up these little gacha coin machine balls, and you can open up these capsules, and you can get new skateboards and stuff like that. So you can actually customize your skateboards and just swap the color of the wheels and stuff like that. And I really liked doing all that stuff. I thought that was actually pretty fun. And I like the little gachapon system that they have in this game. It makes it so you have plenty of replay value because you can keep replaying and playing and playing and hoping that you can unlock all of the skateboards. And you do have some actual things that you can unlock just by playing the game and doing some specific things with each character as well. So one thing I didn't realize about this game when I first jumped into it is that all of the characters, I guess, are based off of VTubers. They're like a small little VTuber group called VTuban. I hope that's how you say that. I don't really know. I looked them up to see what they were all about. They don't really seem like my sort of thing, if I'm being completely honest. I'm probably going to stick to Saba and stick to that VTuber because I have been actually trying to get into VTubers recently anyway, but the only one that I can really stand to watch, if I'm being honest, is usually Saba. But you know, it's not really my type of content that they make, but still they do have their own little VTuber thing that they do, and all the characters are based off of them. And you have a few different characters you can play as. You have a character called AI Candy, I hope they say it, or maybe it's A Candy, I don't know how you say that name. You also have Rose Doodles, Shy Bun, and Buff Pup. And those are the four characters that you can play as. And depending on which one you pick, you have a different ability that you can use with them. So Buff Pup, for example, she has the ability to basically rage out, and she can just go on all fours and start wrecking stuff. She just runs through all the obstacles. Anything that would normally cause you to have damage in this game, she just runs right through without a single problem. And the way that you activate that, she has like this full moon meter, and when that full moon meter fills up all the way, you just basically run into something that would normally cause you damage, and instead of causing damage, it just makes you freak out and start running over everything. So that's a pretty good ability. I do like that one. Shia Bunny, or I don't know how you say that, but Shy Bunny, Shia Bunny, something like that, or Shia Bun. I don't know how you pronounce any of these characters' names other than Rose Doodles and Buff Pup. So, but you have this character, and he's a bunny, and his specialty is that he can double jump. And the double jump is really nice, especially because if you're coming down and you're about to land on an obstacle, you can press that double jump again real quick and avoid landing on said obstacle. So that's a pretty good ability. You can use Rose Doodle. Rose Doodle, I like her ability a lot because it's great for collecting the stars. And you, like I said, you need those stars if you want to collect more of the different designs of the boards and stuff like that. If you want to get more skateboard designs, you really need those stars. And she's great for collecting them because her ability basically makes her start like flying in the air. She has like these little bumblebee looking bear characters that start carrying her through the air. And it just starts basically absorbing all the stars around her. And it basically is just a magnet for stars. And you get tons and tons and tons of stars. And it's great to use her if you just are wanting to get a ton of stars really quick so you can start unlocking more boards. So I really like that one. And then you have AI Candy, and her like ability is she has this like you have the health bar in this game, and you have four bears. The four bears represent your health bar, and when you lose one, the only way to really get them back is to collect these big stars in the level. And if you collect all four big stars in the level, you can get one of your health points back whenever you go into the next level. And that's basically how it works. However, her ability is kind of special because she has a little loading thing in the bottom, and whenever it fills up, she will automatically get one of her health points back. So that's a pretty good ability as well. And I would say that's probably the character you want to go with if you are trying to get as far as you can into the game and just trying to see how far you can get on the actual levels, right? And you have 4 main environments that you're going throughout this entire game. You have a more of like a meadows area, you have a spooky area, you have a city, and you have a beach. And I actually like all 4 of the areas. And I like the graphics of this game a lot as well. Like I said, this game looks like PlayStation 1. And I really loved the PlayStation 1 aesthetic of it because I love PlayStation 1 video games, so it makes sense that I would love the way that this game looks. And I think it plays very well also. I never really had any issues with the way it played. Every now and then I would run into like a small stutter, but it was never anything like super bad. It was just like stutter for a second and then it would be right back going fine, not a single issue in the world. So all of that stuff worked just fine. Overall, I would say that the game is pretty darn good actually. My only complaint would really be the voice lines and the way that the voices acting is delivered, because like it's not that the voice acting is bad. I don't want to say that because I don't think the voice acting is bad per se, but I think what is just kind of off-putting is the direction with how they took some of the voice acting, because I'm going to be honest with you, first of all, a lot of the jokes in this just seem very Reddit-y, okay? They seem like they are like Reddit-style jokes, and that's just not my thing. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, and also, like, some of the voice acting for the character Bunny, for example, it sounds like he's trying to be Morty from Rick and Morty. He's, like, doing the stuttering thing where he's trying to act clumsy, and it just comes across just not great. It doesn't come across very good, if I'm being honest. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but I mean, if that sounds like your style of, humor, then maybe you'll enjoy it. I personally just turned the audio off. Like, you can turn the voices off, and I just did that. I didn't need to hear all that. So I enjoyed it when they were just doing simple stuff and just being like, woohoo! Like, like Mario characters, when they're just picking up the stars and stuff and just, being excited. But as soon as they started saying lines, that's when I was just like, okay, I don't want to hear this. But it is what it is, overall, though, I still think it's a really fun game, and I'm glad that they at least give you the options to turn down the voice acting if you don't want to hear it. I do enjoy this game, and I'll probably play some of the other games that they have. They do have a few other games available, and I may give them a try. They even have like a Five Nights at Freddy's style game as well, so I may give that a try as well. So even though the actual VTuber content itself isn't for me, and I'm not really a big fan of the humor and stuff, I did have a lot of fun with this game. The game itself is really, really fun, and I definitely think that it's worth picking up and giving a try, especially for only $2.99. It's a really cheap game, and for that price, why not give it a playthrough, right? Why not give it a try? It's definitely worth your time, and I think you should go check it out. This is a really fun, endless runner. You can just keep grinding levels, keep going through them, keep getting stars, and keep spending them to get more cool boards. You have a nice amount of customization, and depending on the skills that you use and how often you use them, you can actually unlock alternative skins for each character as well. So there's quite a bit of good stuff to keep you playing in this game, and I definitely think that is worth sinking some hours into. So go check out Stardust Skate, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.